Thanks for sitting with me, everybody. Um, Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about spring. This past weekend was the spring equinox, so the first day of spring. And that is a holiday in my tradition and a lot of different Buddhist traditions, a lot of different religions in general, actually. But it's called Higan, which means to the other shore in Japanese. That's the holiday we observe. And it's kind of a holiday of rededication. So things are coming back to life, right? Things are getting warmer, days are getting longer, we're getting more sunlight. And there's kind of an invitation to kind of seize what's going on around us energetically for ourselves and just kind of refresh as things come back to life, right? Winter is long. And so it's a chance to celebrate things shifting. And so I was thinking about spring and just like meditating on the holiday and things like that. And on Sunday, I actually had a conversation with a friend who has been baking bread for a few years. And it seemed to coincide with my thoughts about spring so exactly. Um, so if you'll humor me, it's a silly conversation about bread, but my friend bakes, and there's a type of bread he makes that he makes all year round. It's kind of his staple. He just keeps on practicing. He's made it for a few years now. And in the winter, in December, we're here in Chicago. It's pretty cold. He says it's like a pretty dense bread. And it takes about like an hour and a half to rise. And so this past week, he was making the same bread and he stumbled upon what he stumbles upon kind of every single spring, which is the realization that after 45 minutes, his bread kind of started to explode. Like not the hour and a half of slow rising, but it was just really bursting. And he was remembering that every single spring here, we have like a little jump in humidity around March. And that little tiny shift in like the air and the quality of warmth around us just changes the complete like chemistry of the bread rising, right? It makes it rise so much faster, like double time basically. And it happens every year and he kind of forgets about it because it makes colder and different. And so I was just thinking about this loaf of bread and I've had a long winter. I think a lot of us have had a long, a bunch of seasons in a row. But this winter, this past few months in particular, were very long. And sometimes I feel like, you know, there are things that we do that even when we're trying different things, like we're trying a bunch of different ways to feel better, or we're trying a bunch of different ways to solve a problem. When we are still in that problem solving phase, sometimes it can feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again and not getting results, right? Or you're not like feeling a shift or feeling better or getting to the bottom of what you're trying to think about. And it was so hopeful to think about this bread that this man has made the same way for 5 years. And every single year, it still like shows out and like says, it's spring, I'm going to explode. Like, no matter what, like, no matter, he's making it the same way. And just that little shift outside of him, right? He didn't even make that shift. Makes a change in the whole way that day plays out, the whole way that bread plays out, that loaf is different. And so I was thinking of how just a little bit of sunlight coming back in Chicago has made me even feel better. And regardless of things getting easier or harder, right? That's not really what I'm trying to track in my life, but like how I feel throughout those easy and hard things is something that I can tap into and I can come back to and ground with myself. And so my spring sharing is just, I hope you're all bursting. I hope your bread is bursting. And if it's not, it only takes a little bit of humidity, a little shift, and then it could be, you know? And so I feel like I'm searching for a shift, but it could be around the corner. So I'd rather just let it happen. And letting that happen kind of makes me enjoy this time more. So that's my sharing for today of bread and spring. Thank you all for coming.